Hello everyone. Today we're going to have a simple overview of registration pricing. There are lots of advanced features with pricing, but this video will just get you started on how to do the basic things with registration pricing. Let's look at our list of takeaways here. Registration prices, we're going to see they live in things called price sets, and we'll see how to work with those. Each semester knows which price set it should use. We'll see how to assign price sets to different semesters. Price sets can be used on multiple semesters so that different semesters could all use the same one, or maybe you've got summer having different prices, whatever the case may be. Price sets can contain multiple prices, and they usually do, and also coupons, fees, and discounts. All those things can be lumped into a price set. Prices can apply to all students, or just the first student, or just the second student. So you can have a series of prices, or just one for everybody. And along the same lines, prices can apply to specific locations or specific class types if needed. And we'll see how to do that. So let's dig right in here. If we take a look at a sample customer order, we can see a simple example here. We've got a class that is being registered for, and we've got 3 students, a first sibling, and an additional sibling. And we've got a different price for each one. It's a pretty standard setup that you might run into, and you might wonder, how do I set that up? Well, let's go take a look on the back end here. We switch to the back end, and let's make a few points, and then we'll get into how those prices are set up. We mentioned that price sets are assigned to semesters, so let's take a quick look at semesters so we get a feel for that. So if I go to semesters, I've got a spring, a summer, a fall, and a winter, and I've got a little test one called My New Semester. Let's look at spring. It's using a price set over here called default. And I have a couple other semesters using this default price set, so those are probably my basic prices. And then I see that summer's got its own special price set, and I've probably got a shorter summer session, so that's probably why I'm doing that here. And then finally, I've got my little test semester here, and he's using a price set called example. That's the one we're going to dig into in our next bit here. But this just shows us, hey, a semester is using a specific price set. And for extra credit here, we're going to open a semester. We're going to go down to registration price settings. We see that there's a setting that says, hey, use this price set for registration. It's set to use example. And in some special cases, specifically our monthly billing customers, or perhaps some semester or special event where you're not collecting tuition, you can just say this semester doesn't use prices at all and turn off the price sets feature. But for now, we won't worry about that. We'll leave pricing turned on, and we'll go see how prices are set up. So we'll go to Setup, Settings, and then down to Registration Pricing. And here's where our price sets get edited and updated, deleted, etc. We can, if we start from the top here, we can see that this page here supports multiple price sets. I could pick a different one. We could take a quick peek at our default price set. It's a little more complicated. Let's run away from that. Let's go back to a simple example here. And this is the one that we saw on our website example. We've got a first student, a sibling, a first sibling, and then an additional sibling, and we've got different tuition amounts for each one. And we also have these little check marks that say, hey, this price here, it should apply to the first student. This price here, the second, and this, the third. And that's telling the system how to assign the prices. And that's how it was able to put that order together that we looked at on the way in. Let's take a quick look back at that example. There was our first student, the sibling, the additional sibling, and the tuition assigned. Where was that coming from? Right from these prices here in our price set. And let's see, what else do we want to say about that? There's one thing you might run into as you work with Main Street Sites pricing. If, for example, one of the prices is missing, I have an address to say this third or more case here. If I take that price away, we'll get a little error message. And I just want to demonstrate that because you might run into it. So I'm going to say instead that this additional sibling is actually for the second student only. And I'd expect to get an error message. Let's see if I did my work properly here. And it says, sure enough, hey, there's a missing price because it wants a price for that third student as well. And it's got some warnings here. And if in fact I clicked on the warnings, I'd expect it to say that the third student, third and subsequent really, because it supports third or more, the price is missing and it doesn't know what to do in that case. So it's trying to help you out and make sure you've got prices for everyone. So I'm going to say back here. I'm going to go back to my prices, and here's the problem I created. It's a very common thing to run into. My third student just doesn't have a price. So I'm going to go back and fix my error that I introduced. Put a price back in that third student case and save it, and we should have a nice happy error gone away. And I've got a nice consistent set of prices that the system can use to assign to new students. A couple more things we'll mention before we finish up or getting started here. Let's look at the rest of our price set interface here. We're on the Prices tab. We also have a Coupons tab. We'll get into that in the coupons video, but we'll just click on that. You'll see we've got a little early registration discount here, so you can add some coupons. We've got fees and discounts in a price set as well. You can add fees if you have particular fees for a particular class, location, what have you. We can assign those fees and they can come and go on different time schedules. So lots of things to get into there. We're going to get into that later. Let's circle back to prices. A couple things that are fun to mention here. We have a real simple case here where the prices apply to any location and any class type, but I'm sure you've guessed that you could go to a price and say, hey, this price is not for all locations. It's really for a particular location. It's really just for, the village center location. And then this price will only apply to students registering there. And what would happen if I save this? It will say, hey, we're missing prices for those other locations. And we'd see that message again, and you'd want to add some additional prices to complete your price set. So the system will always try to help you along and make sure you've got a complete set of prices. So I won't save that change because I don't want to introduce that error. Other things to mention here, I'll just let you know, let's go back into a price, and it's a very simple interface that we've seen so far. There is a fee type for the fees that we have on our price set. If you'd like, you can create a list of different types of fees. By default, we'll just assign it as registration fee. You can go add different ones if you want. We won't get into that here, but you'll see that we start you off with a bunch of different fee types, and this one is registration fee. If for your own accounting purposes or reporting, you'd like a couple different kinds of fee types, you can always do that, and we'll just mention that that is over in Setup. And in Advanced and Fee Types, you can add different fee types if you'd like to for your reporting, track your different lines of business. For now, for this video, we'll leave that as it is. And in passing, we'll show you this advanced settings here on a price, because what we've seen here is pretty simple. But there are lots of other cases we can get into with early registration discounts, prorating, different hiding and showing of prices in different situations, age restrictions, and group assignment based on membership groups or billing groups. We'll ignore all that. For now, that's just to kind of whet your appetite for future videos, and you'll want to come back and see how that all works. For now, we'll hide that, though. We don't need to get into it. We'll cancel out here, and we'll just look at one more thing, which will be how to work with multiple registration price sets. And that's just this one right here, manage registration price sets. Here we can see a list of the price sets that we've already created here. We can copy them. If I went to default and I wanted to copy it, I can copy that. Maybe I want to create my new prices for next semester. Just come in and make a copy and then edit that copy of the prices to update my price set. And what else can I do? I can add a new one from here, and of course I can rename them as you would expect to be able to do. I'm going to go back here, and let's see. Is there anything else we want to say? You've got a validate option here. If you want to make sure your prices are good, you can run this validation and it will process all your prices and all your price sets and just make sure that there are no errors lurking here, and make sure that for every class combination with class type and location and first, second, and third, you've got all the prices in good shape, which we have here. We're ready to go. We can go take registrations, and these are the prices that will be assigned. That concludes our getting started with registration pricing. As always, you've got help in the upper right here on the question mark. The general help option and your user manual is laid out just like the interface on the back end. I can go to setup, I can go to settings and registration pricing, and there I get all kinds of interesting information about how to set up registration pricing, and it will cover what we just talked about as well as things like coupons and fees and discounts. All right, thank you very much. If you want to learn more about registration pricing, take a look at our additional videos. There's lots more detail there to get into. All right, thank you very much.